Welcome to Israeli Frenemies. I'm Eli Chazan, Foreign Affairs Director of the Likud Party. Here with me today, Nir Avishai Cohen from Meretz Party, a candidate in the coming primaries. Hello, Nir.
Hi, Eli. How are you?
Let's begin. Okay, we have three issues on the table today to speak with Nir. The first issue is the coming election in Israel. In April 9th, the Israelis will go to vote. We can speak about the Israeli elections through so many aspects, but Nir, I want to speak with you about the fragmentation inside the left bloc and the right bloc. First of all, let's start with the left bloc, because I want to remind to our viewers that in 1992, one of the reasons for the victory of Yitzhak Rabin and the left wing was unification in the left bloc. Meretz was created from three different parties, and it seems to me that right now it's a completely different story.
Look, as I said, in order to be an alternative to the right-wing parties, we in the left, we have to unite. We have to create a union of Meretz, of Avoda, and also the Arab parties. I see the Arab parties part of the political game in Israel, and I think they should have a part. They should take part of this union under three values. First is keeping the democracy in Israel, which obviously.
Why the democracy is in danger in Israel?
Definitely, it's in danger, and if the right-wing parties, will continue to rule in Israel, I want
to challenge you and ask you. Yeah. I've read The Economist. There is a rate of The Economist, they call it the democracy rate, which proves more than beyond any doubt that Israel is more democratic than it used to be 20, 30, 40, not to mention 50 and 60 years ago. How can you say that Israel is less democratic?
Because when I look on the future, I'm really concerned about what's going to happen here. I see how the politicians speak about the court, about the police, and even about the army, and now about the Shin Bet. And I think brick after brick, they're putting Israel under danger, because the democracy can change. And we saw it in the world that the democracies who weren't so stable, they destroyed, and I'm really concerned about it. And I think this is the first mission now of the union in the left parties, again, including the Arab parties. They must be part of this union, and this will be an alternative to the right wing.
Would you like to be in the same party with Arab MKs, such as Hanin Zoabi, although she declared she will not run, and Jamal Zakhalka and Ayman Uda, which are anti-Zionists, some of them, with no doubt, support terror in many cases. Do you see yourself one of, united party like that?
Okay, first, I don't agree with 100% of all the Arab MKs' opinion, but with most of their opinion, okay, I agree, yes, and with Ayman Uda, with most of his opinion, and he's not supporting terror. This is a propaganda against
I can bring a lot of facts, it's
the
out
Arabs.
loud, it's been said so many times.
I do see myself sit in the same, or be in the same party with the Arab Knesset members. Again, I have some other opinions in some issues, but in the basic issues, we're talking about democracy, we're talking about equal rights to all of the citizens in Israel, and I'm obviously talking about end the occupation and having a Palestinian state in the 67 borders. Yes, I will be happy to be in the same party, in the same union, Jews and Arabs together, yes.
As you know, we have Arabs and Muslims in the Likud party as well, but I cannot understand one thing. Yeah. The more you are leaning to those values, or at least beliefs, the more you lose. So how come you want to keep it? How come you want to strengthen those views when you know that in the end it brings to your lost?
I'm not talking about terms of lost or win. I see myself as an Israeli, and I see myself living
But
here.
Netanyahu doesn't see himself as an Israeli?
Just a second. And as an Israeli, I see myself living here with the Arabs equal to me, and I think they are deserve to be a citizens, they deserve to all of the rights exactly like me. The country belong to them exactly like it belonged to me. I'm talking again about the Israeli citizens. They are not guests here. They are part of the society, and I will make a lot of effort, and every effort I will make in order to be part of this kind of union with the Arabs, yes, and I'm proud of it.
I tell you what is your problem, that you don't understand that I see them, and people like me from Likud party, from the right bloc, sees them as citizens, equal citizens in Israel as much as possible. That's not a difference. For us in the right wing, it seems to me that this is a motion of confidence on Netanyahu, and it seems to me that right now, according to the polls, we are doing quite good, but there is a lot of fragmentation, not only on the left bloc, but in the right bloc as well.
How can you say that you see them equal if your government, okay, or your party is doing
amazing things for them?
Not amazing things, the
amazing.
Opposite. How after the nationalism law, what we call
the nation state law, as you call
the
it,
Chok HaLeom, okay, how can you defend, okay, on this kind of law?
It's amazing. I tell you why, because it was the right way. First of all, let's start. Who gave to the Arabs and the Muslims in Israel the most things? It was Netanyahu's government. 15 billion shekels economic program that was promoted by Netanyahu since 2016 until today. It's never been given by the left wing. When you speak about equal rights and opportunities. The second thing, I do not understand what is your trouble with the nation-state bill. Because in 1992, we promoted two basic laws. In Israel, we don't have a constitution, it is well known. We promoted two basic laws. The one of them is the freedom of occupation, not occupation in the territories, but occupation as profession. And the second law was human's dignity. And these two basic laws changed completely the balance between Jewish and democratic because of the upheaval in the Supreme High Court. What we did with the nation-state bill is to bring back Israel to be a democratic and a Jewish state. If you have something to say against the nation-state bill...
Why did you change the Arabic language as part of...
we didn't change it. This is another a kind of fake news. Arab was never been a formal language in Israel, and besides that...
Don't you think it should be a formal language in Israel?
No, it has... I want to make clear for something because I said no and the program will stop. It doesn't that I don't want to give equal status to the Arab language. I want to emphasize one thing. It's never been like that. And in fact, the nation-state bill didn't change anything. For instance, you live in the north of Israel. Have you seen something that was changed?
Yes, I will tell you what changed. The feelings of the people, the Arabs, citizens, saying that after this law, they feel that they not have the equal rights like the Jews. And that would actually change. And one more thing before we skip to the next subject. I think this law is a base for future laws. And I'm afraid from the future laws.
I'm not concerned, but I'm quite optimistic. By the way, this law is not contradicting the policy of the government to give more to the Arabs in order to integrate in the state of Israel. And you know what? Let's meet again a few years from now and we'll see how the situation of the Arabs has changed. I know one thing. We don't have the martial law of the 1960s of the left wing on the Arabs. When I look in the Israeli society, in the Supreme Court, in universities, even the football national team of Israel consists mostly from Muslims and Arabs. So to say that we're damaging the Arabs is completely untrue.
You have to speak with them to understand it, but let's agree to disagree.
Okay, so let's continue to the second subject, the second issue, the lack of the peace process in the discourse of the coming election. One of the things which is very interesting, almost with every foreigner that I meet, is asking me about the two-state solution, about the peace process, and there is one thing which is completely clear, that the peace process does not exist in the discourse of the elections. What do you think about it?
Unfortunately, you're right. And that's exactly the reason why I decided to run for the Knesset. Many people lost their hope regarding the peace, regarding the two-state solution, regarding the occupation. And I think this is maybe the main thing that Meretz and the other left parties should do. Again, to speak about the peace. Again, to keep keep talking about the Palestinian state, the two-state solution. It is relevant, and the peace is achievable. And you know what? It even can come more sooner than we think. And we know the price. And when we talk about Palestinian state, we talk about 67 borders. And in the moment that it will happen, there will be a peace. And yes, and when I'm speaking with Palestinians in the West Bank and also in Gaza Strip, they are saying that the majority of the Palestinians still want the peace and still believe in peace. And yes, and the thing is, the right-wing parties, they're trying to put it off the table. The peace process,
I tell you what, we don't need to make a lot of effort in order to do it, because the discourse in the Israeli media is so biased, but we don't need to make any effort because the Israelis, they see the reality. And I believe this is one of your problems. You don't see the reality as much as most of the Israelis sees that. And of course, it is reflecting in the elections. Most of the parties do not speak about it because they look to Ramallah. They see the allegedly partner, which is not a partner. And
so what do you suggest? What do you suggest?
Maintaining the status quo.
Like this.
Like this, no change. I tell you why. Because there are two alternatives, which is completely a disaster. The two-state solution, not because I'm against it in principle. I know one thing. As soon as they will create the Palestinian state, it will be a base in order to attack Israel. They want to create, this men specifically, want to create a state not alongside Israel, but instead of Israel. The alternative is one-state solution, which in some cases even much worse than the two-state solution. So the reality, the best reality, is the status quo. I want to just say one more thing. I want to quote Winston Churchill, which said about democracy, it's a terrible system, but it's much better than the other systems that we have tried. The same issue is with the Palestinian state.
Don't you think that the reality right now, the reality that your party is leading, will lead us to the one-state solution?
No, not at all. I tell you why. I tell you why. Because Netanyahu insisted about it. Maintaining the status quo almost in every subject. It's not easy. We have partners on the right wing that want to go to this kind of situation, but I belong in my party, Likud, to same those who said no, status quo, no one-state solution, no two-state solution, because the alternative is much worse.
I think the Palestinians deserve to have their own country. That's first. Second, I'm sure, and I'm talking with them time after time, and we see it also on the Palestinian press. They want peace with Israel.
With all the incitement.
They want us first to end the occupation, and I agree with them. And the second step will be a peace with Israel, and I'm sure about it.
Nir, you ended the occupation in Gaza and Jericho in 1994. You've got in return terror. When Ehud Barak, from your camp, not from my camp, went to Camp David summit in 2000. I read the biography.
This is exactly the thing. We never ended the occupation. We still occupied.
So the left wing never ended the occupation?
We never ended. We started the process. We started the process.
Who destroyed this
but
process?
we never ended. And the occupation must...
Tell me, is this a basic question that you should answer about it? Who destroyed the peace process?
Who destroyed the peace process? I think both sides. Both sides are responsible to the situation which is going on right now. But I think something else. I think we have a partner. This guy is our partner right now. I don't know who will replace him, but I know he's a partner, but it's not him. He's representing the Palestinian people. And the Palestinian people want to have peace with Israel, want to live here in a quiet area, and they don't want us to be in the sea, that I'm sure.
Okay, that is my next question. You know, from time to time, I go to Memory. Memory is a very interesting website of an organization in Israel who are following the Palestinian media and the Palestinian schools. And it quite contradicts what you are saying, because in the Palestinian media, in the Palestinian school system, the right for Israel to exist does not exist in fact. I mean, if you look at
that is exactly your party propaganda that we
but
don't.
That's
that
true.
We don't, this is not
Believe
the
me,
truth.
I'm not saying that.
This is not the truth.
Some commentators, international commentators,
we have to separate.
Memory is not supporting.
Let's speak about the new road that just opened in Israel, 4370 in the West Bank, a road which...
Judea and Samaria, not West Bank.
Okay, West Bank, occupied territories if you want.
Free territories, but let's leave it.
A road that separates between Jews and Palestinians, Jews and Arabs, that let only Jews to drive in this road. And I would like to hear your opinion, how you see the justice of this road.
It's very just. I tell you why. Because Arab Israelis can drive in this road, and you haven't mentioned that next to this road there is a road for the Palestinians themselves. So in fact, it doesn't damage. Why?
Why do we need this separation?
I need this separation in order to keep the security of the Jews in the region.
So if we want the security, maybe we shouldn't be there.
We should be there. You know why? Because if those people will not be there, you will be the next target.
So what you are saying now, that you are approved that there is apartheid in the West, the West Bank, there is separation. There are roads, that belong only for Jews because they are Jews.
There is a separation because you created the Palestinian autonomy in territory A and B, which have their own system, and that's the truth. There is no apartheid. There is a separation between the Palestinian Authority and Israel in territory C and territory A and B. It's not separation. And by the way, you created this separation as much as you call it. We did not create it.
I want to tell you something from my experience. I served as an officer in the Golani Brigade, and afterwards I was a company commander in the Reserve Army, and I was, unfortunately, in the West Bank. I served there years after years, and I have to tell you, the apartheid is existing and happening day after day. I did it, again, unfortunately, with my hands. It's not just the roads, it's other rights, different rights to Jews and to Palestinians, only because they are Jews and they are Palestinians. I want us to understand and to say, yes, there is apartheid in the West Bank. There are different rights to different, you can call it races, or you can call it other people.
I'll reply. I served in Givati, not in Golani. We're not as good as you. And I know one thing, there is no apartheid in Judea and Samaria. I know another thing, that I need to defend myself from the Palestinian terror, which is right now, you can see it by throwing stones, shooting from time to time, and think what would happen as soon as Israel will pull out of these territories. The terror will come to you inside Israel. Those people, the settlers, and I do not agree with all of them about all the things, but for me they are like pioneers. And please remember that as soon as they are not going to be there, it will be your trouble.
I disagree with you, because once we will have a border with the Palestinian state, based on 67 borders, our safety or our security will be better. This is, again, the propaganda of the right. This is not the truth. Again, we have to listen, not to me, I'm only a major in the Reserve Army, to the heads, 6 heads of the Shin Bet, and to many generals that say, no, this is the opposite. Meaning, we can defend Israel better if we will have a border between Palestine and Israel.
I respect.
The fact that the settlements are separated all over the West Bank is making us to be under dangerous all over Israel. We have to say it.
I respect those generals, but they were so mistaken. Those were the same generals that in the 1990s told us, you must bring Arafat and we've got terror in return. Those were the same generals who told us you must go out of Gaza and we've got missiles in return. And that was, you know, my next stage to tell you. As soon as Israel will leave these territories, the missiles will come not only from Gaza, they will come from the West or the Judean Samaria as well.
So this is your explanation why we have apartheid in the West Bank, in the occupied territories?
You can say apartheid.
How can you travel?
You can say apartheid as much as you want.
How can you travel in the world and defend your country when you know? And if you were in Givati Brigade, you know exactly there is a separation, there is apartheid in the West Bank.
I know
they don't
exactly.
They don't have the same rights. How can you defend?
I know exactly.
This kind of a situation? How?
I know exactly that you are mistaken. I've been 37 times in the last 4 years abroad, in Europe, in the States, in Far East. Most of the people are not interested about the Palestinians because... Okay, there is one good habit in this show to finish with a good word. I want to finish with a good word. To the visit of Netanyahu in Brazil with Bolsonaro. By the way, it connects to what you said, that the situation of Israel abroad is completely disaster. No, not at all. Bolsonaro is a good example. Urban is another good example. Other friends of Israel abroad.
Those are our friends.
No, not only them. Merkel is our friend, although we do not agree about all the things. Trump, Moody. You want me to continue? 180 leaders have visited Israel in the last 4 years. We have a lot of friends abroad. So let's go to you.
I will say a good word from the place I'm coming from. I'm originally and still living in the north of Israel in a small village, and I can tell you that in the last 2 weeks we have a lot of rain, and the Kinneret Lake, the Sea of Galilee, has a lack of water, and those rains are amazing, and the north is amazing, and it's getting greener and greener, and it's an amazing place to go now and travel, and I'm inviting all the people to go up to the north and see this beautiful area.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you, Nir Avishai Cohen. I was Eli Chazan with you. See you next time in Israeli Frenemies.